everyone, welcome to Christina Cakes It. I'm Christina and today I'm showing you how to make the best ever toffee recipe. So the idea for this episode came to me because I was browsing the Williams-Sonoma website on Black Friday, as is common to find me doing. And I was looking at like their gourmet food section, and for like their holiday candies, I saw that they had several different things, but they had toffee on there, and I was like, I could definitely make that myself. And then I had the thought that it would be the perfect DIY Christmas gift, and so I decided to film the episode for my channel. Toffee is actually really easy to make and it only requires a few ingredients, but you definitely need quite a bit of patience because when you are making the candy, it does take quite a while to get to the right temperature. So the one thing that you're gonna need is patience. Well, actually two things. You need patience, and the other tip that I have is you have to have a candy thermometer. So this is imperative. I've heard like mythical tales that people have made this successfully without a candy thermometer, but I've never been able to do that. So if you don't have a candy thermometer, definitely buy one. It is worth its weight in gold. As always, the full recipe is down below in the description, and the ingredients that I'm going to be using today are 1 cup of chopped pecans, a cup of milk chocolate chips. Well, actually I used a little bit more than a cup. 1 cup of granulated sugar, 1 cup of salted butter or 2 sticks, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and ½ a teaspoon of salt. So I've lined my pan with parchment paper and I lightly gave it a spray. A tip I found is to use binder clips when you're lining your pan with parchment paper. I don't know where I originally saw this. I think it was like someone's Instagram story, but I've been doing it forever and it's so helpful to keep your parchment paper in place. So a 9-inch pan is ready to go. And you're gonna wanna use a very thick, heavy bottomed pan. And there's no like scientific evidence to this, but like the older and uglier the pot, the better the candy turns out. As somebody commented on my pot before when I use this to make pralines, but it works really well. It's like a very good quality pan. So I'm just gonna start by adding my butter, sugar, and salt to my pan. And before I heat this up and get this going, I'm gonna take my pecans and just spread them in my pan. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to start by melting my butter, sugar, and salt until it reaches a boil. And I'm gonna be stirring constantly this whole time, so get ready, your arm's gonna get a little bit tired, but it is worth it. And after this reaches a boil, I'm going to add my candy thermometer. So once my mixture reaches a full boil, I'm going to affix my candy thermometer. And it's important that you don't actually let it touch the bottom of the pan, but you want it in the candy. So not touching the bottom, but definitely getting the temperature of the candy. And from here, I'm gonna stir occasionally. And this is the part that takes quite a while because we want it to reach between 290 and 300 degrees Fahrenheit, which is the hard crack stage of candy. And it's gonna take some time to get there. So like right now it's at about 190, almost 200. And it's just gonna take its time to get there. And you're gonna see that it is gonna start to brown, which is good. And I'm just gonna be stirring this occasionally. I don't have to stir it constantly at this point. All right, so you can see this has reached this beautiful brown color and it has reached the hard crack stage. So I am removing from heat. Take my little thermometer out. So it got to 300 degrees and I'm going to stir in my vanilla. from here, I'm going to very carefully pour this over my pecans. This is so hot, so you do not want to burn yourself. So now I'm just gonna let this sit just for a few minutes to settle before I place the chocolate chips over it. So after this has settled for a few minutes, I'm going to sprinkle my milk chocolate chips over this. So then I'm gonna cover it with foil for about 5 minutes just to trap that heat in so that they soften, so that I can spread the milk chocolate chips over to make that chocolate layer that covers the toffee. So after a few minutes, I'm gonna remove the foil, and you can clearly see these chocolate chips have softened. And I'm using just an offset spatula to spread this over the toffee. This smells amazing, by the way, in case you're wondering. From here, this is gonna go into the fridge for about 2 hours before I take it out to cut my toffee into pieces. All right, so it is 2 hours later and my toffee has come out of the fridge, and I'm just going to take it out of the pan and cut it. So you can see I have these beautiful big pieces of toffee, and you can see the pecans along the bottom, and that chocolate just dried really smooth. And so from here, I'm just going to package these up. And it is important that we store these at room temperature. And a great thing about toffee is that it does stay fresh for 2 to 3 weeks as long as it's packaged well and stored in an airtight container. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching me make this recipe, and if you did like it, don't forget to give this episode a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel.